Chief Myron Demkiw and Board Chair Shelley Carroll are speaking to the media after today's Police Services Board, where they discussed the response to the anti-corruption investigation known as Project South. Let's listen in.
Are these, we learned from the Project South allegations that police are alleged, Toronto police, not anywhere else in the province, have spent months allegedly engaging in bribery, accepting bribery, infiltrating databases on behalf of organized crime, of giving information to people involved in murder plots against public servants. So these are some forward-looking aspirations that have been spoken to today, but I'm just wondering, where's the urgency? What is being done exactly?
Well, all of the things announced today require action to happen. You will also have seen in the board's motion applying a sense of urgency to the Inspector General's actions, hiring the investigator to begin his review of the TPS and boards across the province. But while they are aspirational, we do want to work on culture and really respect the work of the 8,000 members that work right now. What you just outlined in your question are all the things that investigation has brought to criminal justice, and that process will unfold. What is challenging, and I think unprecedented here, is that what you're going to see is the criminal proceedings taking place at the same time the service and the board are looking for the improvements they can make now and in real time, and the Inspectorate providing an investigator to begin an exhaustive review. And it's important that people remember that review, because it comes from the Inspectorate of Policing, results not in recommendations that we can pick and choose from. It results in directions that must be followed. That's the mandate of the Inspectorate of Policing in Ontario. And so there will be directions for the service, and I dare say some for governance on the board. So there will be actions taken because they will be required under the law.
Why don't answer the calls for municipal public inquiry, as was called for earlier this week by some people? You know that, as a city councillor, that the MFP inquiry was very useful in sort of airing allegations of corruption at the City Hall level 20 years ago. Why not do that as another parallel probe that might be a lot faster than waiting for the Inspector General, a lot faster than waiting for the criminal justice system?
In fact, I'll have to stop you right there, because our understanding is that they would not be faster. The Inspectorate, because he has directorship over policing in Ontario, can begin immediately. We understand he's going through the selection vetting process to put an inspector in place very soon. And their directions don't wait for a final report, as was the case in MFP. I was a councillor when that report came forward, even though I was elected years after the scandal had taken place. When Justice Bellamy made those recommendations, it was years later, and I had no real connection to the event. These directions can come now, so that a board that has experienced this can enact them and provide oversight to make sure that those directions that are to the Chief of Police get implemented immediately. That's the urgency that comes with this new role, Inspectorate of Policing, that the province directs.
Just on the point, just on the difference between these things, we assume a judicial inquiry would be conducted in public with witnesses that we would follow along. Do we have any guarantees that the Inspectorate will conduct their inquiry that way? And if why not do a public process?
The Inspectorate begins right away, and he directs both services and boards. A judicial inquiry, if someone were to request it, long after all the prosecutorial proceedings have taken place, that's a thing that may be generated in the community, but it could not start until all those proceedings were done, which could be years. We don't think, and I dare say the chief, I'm going to ask him to comment, we don't think that this can wait. The board doesn't and the service doesn't. If there are improvements we need to make now to close the loop so that the allegations that are now being heard in court can't take place while we're waiting for that result, the Inspectorate acts now.
I think just to build on that point, there is a sense of urgency. Obviously, I hope you're hearing from from the service and from me. And in fact, the Inspector General, we welcome the review being done as a thematic review provincially. And I think the other important thing to recognize is policing in this province is governed by provincial legislation and provincial statute, and the Inspector General operates within the legal framework of the provincial legislation and has authorities to direct certain actions and can do so in a timely manner. So while we wait for the Inspector General to take their immediate next steps, which we hope will happen very, very soon, we are additionally doing our work with a sense of urgency, as you heard earlier today. And we not only are following up on the 5 themes that we identified in the first place with our own work, but indeed embarking on our One TPS initiative and building the capacity of our frontline units and our professional standards units to meet the challenges that have been identified as a result of Project South.
When you talk about wanting to change the culture, what is it about the Toronto Police Service culture that needs to change? What are the problems with the culture in your service?
Well, I think it's a little premature to comment on that specifically until the work of the committee gets going to identify their scope of work. But I think we can look back at what Project South revealed, and obviously there are things that are of concern in regards to the evidence that's before the courts now and will be tested in court that speak to organizational culture, and defining that and putting it into a workable framework for us to improve is what the work of the committees will be.
Chief Superintendent Dawson talked about trying to identify problems before they become misconduct. How confident are you, and I appreciate it's a hypothetical, but if these safeguards that you're looking to now put in place were in place, how confident are you that what happened with Project South and these 7 officers wouldn't have happened, and that maybe going through the databases and stuff have been identified ahead of time?
Well, I think there's a lot of speculation in that question that I don't want to get into. I think what I can say is we know from the past, and when we take actions to support our members with good governance, good supervision, good coaching and mentoring, we have different outcomes in their day-to-day work. And when we have supervision on the ground, assisting our members in succeeding and making sure there's good oversight, we have different kinds of results that happen as a result of that. And we'll continue to build on that kind of work going forward, and it will bring positive results.
Question. This is about accountability, transparency. There's a previous investigation into officer collusion from 2 years ago in that trial. Can you give us an update on?
I'm sorry, what was the last part?
Collusion, the investigation into potential collusion among your officers. What's the update on that?
What specific investigation are you speaking to?
This is in the wake of the Umar Zawiya trial.
I'm sorry?
The Umar Zawiya trial.
Okay. Yeah, so what I can tell you at this point is I've been in touch with the Ontario Provincial Police. And at this point, I'm not prepared to comment any further, but we have been in contact on that file. Thank you.
Just listening to Police Chief Myron, Demkiw, and Board Chair Shelley Carroll as they were speaking to media after today's Police Services Board meeting, where they discussed the response to the anti-corruption investigation known as Project South.